Isabel Gustus Pruse was born in 1852 and died in 1932. She was born in Roxford House near Lyra, Co. Calloway. In the 1880, she married Sir William Henry, and from then on, she was known as Lady Gregory. Now, Sir William Henry Gregory, if no one knows, is a neighboring landowner who had previously served a member of the Parliament and as governor of Sir Lochawe. Lady Gregory's career did not begin until her husband died in 1892, and in 1896 she met William Butler Yeats and became his lifelong friend and patron. She took part in the foundation of Irish Literature Theatre in 1899 and became a director in 1904 of the Abbey Theatre, which owed much of its success to her skill at smoothing the diverse among highly individual Irish national founders. One of the first works that Lady Gregory wrote was seven short plays, 1909. From there on, she would write and translate over 40 plays. In the 7 short plays, her best vivid in dialogue and characterization. In the later years, she would get into comedies like The Image of Doors Gold, published in 1910 to 1913. And in her strange fantasies of The Golden Apple and the Dragon in 1916 to 1920. She also arranged and made continuous natives of the various versions of Irish sagas, translating them into Algo-Irish peasant dialect that she labeled Cairn. But one of Lady Gregory's greatest works of art is The Rising of the Moon. Now, The Rising of the Moon is a one-act play, but even if it's a one-act play, and it being so short, it is still a good play. Many theaters do it today because it is so simple to do, but yet at the same time, it has its complications. The basic synopsis of The Rising of the Moon is this. There's a man who has escaped prison, and he is wanted by the police for £100, which is equivalent to $200 in American money. And back then, that was a lot of money. You have to realize this is back in the early 1900s that this play was set. There's a sergeant, 2 policemen, and a man that no one knows of. So this is how the play begins. The sergeant and the 2 policemen go to this pier and see this barrel, and they say, oh, well, this would be a good place to put up the notice. And the sergeant tells the other 2 policemen to go peruse the streets for this man. Now, the other 2 policemen don't see me pointing this, since no one knows what the actual man that they're looking for looks like. And the sergeant just tells them, go on with themselves, and I will stay here. So the sergeant stays watch. Now, the sergeant, he comes across this ballad singer that comes across him, who's trying to get on the boats. And he tells them, no, sir, you cannot come here. We're looking for a wanted criminal. And the man and the sergeant start talking. And they find out, and the sergeant finds out that the man knows who he is looking for. He knows what he looks like. He actually met the man. So he persuades this stranger, who perceives himself to be a Jimmy Walsh, a ballad singer, to stay with him and identify this man when he comes across so the sergeant can arrest him. Now, the sergeant and the man are there for a long time by the pier. They wait and they wait and they talk and they talk. And they find out they have more in common than they think. They talk about their past. They talk about their present. They even talk about complicated concepts that everyone talks about to this day. Normal conversations. This is a normal conversation in this play. It's so eloquent and diverse. And the sergeant even begins to feel like this man is his friend. Until the sergeant finds out this man, Jimmy Walsh, is really the man he's been looking for this whole entire time. The escaped prisoner. Now the escaped prisoner hears the other two policemen coming back, and he hides behind a barrel, and he says, "I know you won't betray me, Sergeant." The policemen come in, and they talk to the sergeant, and the sergeant says, "I haven't seen anything. Leave. Leave now." The policemen don't leave. They say, "Well, you told us to come back, so we have to come back." And the sergeant says, "Well, now I'm telling you to leave." Then one of the policemen starts to approach the barrel, and the sergeant loses it. He goes in a frenzy. He starts yelling at them, "Get out of here! Get out of here! I do not want you in here." The two policemen leave, and the man comes from behind the barrel. He says, "Thank you, Sergeant. I knew you wouldn't betray me." Then the man leaves on his boat. And the sergeant turns away from the audience, looks at the barrel, turns back to the audience. And asks them one question. Am I a fool?